Let's get some prize picks in today, guys. Last night's picks went 3-3, so no luck there. No 0.4x, no 2x, and no 25x. But tonight I built a very nice slip that I'm going to go over right now. And actually I have two slips. So I'm going to go over this first one. It's going to be my same stacking strategy as normal. Second one is going to be straight positive EV picks. And we're going to kick it off with a popular pick here. So if we go down right around here, we see Chet, 10.6k people on him. On the over, I'm assuming, because if we check his last two games, he dropped 35 and 22 points. Well, I'm not grabbing the over today. I'm grabbing the under 16.5 points versus the Toronto Raptors. I'm going to get into that a little bit. First, I'm going to show you who I'm stacking him with, and that's going to be Jaylen Williams on the under 4.5 assists. Now, a lot of you guys are probably on the overs on OKC because of this easy matchup versus the Raptors. When I go ahead and I see a spread at minus 16, 230 total, which is quite high, but minus 16 spread means that this is likely, very likely, to be a blowout. If we go and check the Raptors starting lineup tonight, obviously we have Scotty Barnes out, we got RJ Barrett out, and we got Jakob out. Quickly is out. Everyone is out. They got Grady Dick in the starting lineup. Gary Trent is also a game time decision. I mean, this team is not going to be competitive whatsoever. So I know you think OKC is going to be dunking on these guys, scoring all kinds of points, but at the same time, if they are doing very well, let's say Shai's dropping like 40 points, the rest of the players are not going to be getting a lot of points because they're going to get sat eventually. If they're up like 30 points by the second half, they're going to start slowing it down, reducing minutes for all these starters, which is why we're going on the unders instead of the overs. We're hoping for an SGA masterclass. Maybe he hits his demon tonight and drops 35, 40 points, allowing less points for the rest of the players. Now, the reason I'm going with Jaylen Williams on the under assists is because Shai doesn't score a lot of assisted points. He's one of the top players who creates shots for himself. And I'll show you guys that with proof. If we go and check Chet, for example, he is assisted 73.4% of the time. His 3-point field goal made are 97% assisted, and even his 2-pointers are assisted 65% of the time, so an average of 73.4% over all of his points. If we check SGA, for example, only 24% of his field goal made are assisted. So he's creating his own shots about 76% of the time, which means it's very likely that Jaylen Williams could easily go under his 4.5 while Shai's dropping like 35, 40 points. And then Chet's also going to be going under because Jaylen Williams is not going to be getting assists if Shai's getting all the points. Because as I just showed you, more time that SGA has the ball, there's going to be less opportunity for Jaylen Williams to get these assists. So we're stacking these two players together, hoping for that SGA masterclass and a blowout, hopefully an earlier blowout than normal, like a nice 20-point lead at the half, maybe even at the first quarter, and you're going to see a lot of reduced minutes for all starters. So that is why you go under in this case rather than over. Even if the total is at 230.5, that still includes bench players, right? If starters don't play for a whole quarter, it's still possible for it to go over 230.5, which is why I think the spread is more important than the total when you're looking at pacing of a game and when you're looking for that specific game script. So unders on both Chet and Jaylen Williams, definitely grabbing these two guys together. To be honest, I wasn't really planning on grabbing SGA on the over 30.5 points in the slip, and I'm not going to be, but this is also a good combination as I just went over. Like I said, if SGA is getting a lot of points, probably Jaylen Williams is not getting a lot of assists, which also means that Chet is probably not getting a lot of points because SGA is getting them. It all makes sense together if you grab all three in the same entry. But that wasn't my intention to throw them in, so I'm just going to show you just the value on Jaylen Williams and Chet here. So if we go over to this OKC game, grab the player props, we see on Chet, he's kind of at 50-50. So that's why he's a popular pick. I know a lot of people are going to be on this over. I'm grabbing the under for the reason that I just explained. But it's more on Jaylen Williams where the value is. If you go and check Jaylen Williams on the assists, you can see juice towards his under 4.5, minus 135, which means the higher the minus, the more likely it is for that to happen. So his under is more likely in this case. That's why I'm loving this stack. Like I said, could throw SGA in there, but I'm not going to do it because I already planned out a different 4 players. The next 2 picks are going to be on the Cavaliers. We're going at Garland on his over 6.5 assists, and you could go at LeVert here. I know a lot of people are probably going to be on LeVert, grabbing his 7 assists, jamming it over and over and over, because ever since Mitchell's been out, I mean, he's been clearing this very nicely, 11, 9, 7, 11, and 12. But I do like Garland at 6.5 better than I like Caris LeVert at 7. And I could show you why. If we go to this Cleveland game and go to player props on the assists, sportsbooks have them kind of similar here, right? There is Garland at minus 135, LeVert at minus 140. But you see the difference here is that LeVert is more likely to go over that 6.5, but not by much. I could even show you the calculation on this. If I grab this calculator, you saw it was minus 135 on the over for Darius Garland and plus 105 on the under. So if you could put this into this calculator, what it's going to do is take the edge out of the sportsbooks and tell you a percentage that they're expecting. So 54% chance that he goes over that 6.5 assist, 46% chance that he goes under. Now for LeVert, he was set at minus 140 plus 110. So for LeVert, they're expecting about a 55%. So there's a 1% difference, but there's also a half a point difference if you grab LeVert versus Garland. So that's why we're going with Garland on his over 6.5 assists. And as I was just going over that, you could see that I believe they just took Jaylen Williams off the board on his assists because it was too good for us. So Jaylen Williams' assist is now gone as I was building a slip, which is very annoying. So I'm kind of just going to have to go with maybe Rio One's assist. I did check him on the sportsbook. He's set at 8.5, Check Jaylen Williams, rebounds, assists, 8.5 minus 130 juice. We're getting my 9, which is not bad, but I would have really liked to have that 4.5 on the assist. We'll go with this for now. If things change throughout the video, I'm going to throw back the assist if he gets added back to the board. But anyways, let's carry on with Cleveland as I was going. So Garland, I'm going to be matching this up with Jared Allen on his over 17.5 points. It's very similar concept to what I was going with for Jaylen Williams and Chet. So Jared Allen is like Chet here in the case that a lot of his points are going to be assisted. And again, you could check this very easily on this site on NBA stats. And these are straight from NBA themselves. So Jared Allen on the field goals made assisted, 81%. So that's even more than Chet. I think Chet was around 76%. We have 81% of Jared Allen's field goals are going to be assisted. So it looks great for us when we're grabbing an over 6.5 assists on a guard who's likely going to be assisting Jared Allen for a good part of his assists. So that is very nice to see. But it's also the matchup I'm looking at. It's a bit of a difficult one, right? 206 total is pretty low, so not expecting a lot of points. And it's a -7 spread toward the Timberwolves at home. So it's not an easy matchup by any means. But if we go and check how Minnesota Timberwolves plays against each position, it's actually the worst against the center compared to the other positions that they defend against. So the Timberwolves have the least amount of points scored if you check every single position. If we go down to the point guard position, they're still top 4. If we go to shooting guard, they're number 1 again. If we go to small forward, you see they get a little bit worse at defending the small forward position, but also the center position, they're down here because if we check the power forward, they're still top 3. So basically small forward and centers, they struggle to defend a bit. And the good news is that Rudy Gobert is still questionable, so we're not sure if he's going to play. Anthony Edwards is also questionable, so I do think it's going to be a bit of an easier matchup than maybe expected. So we definitely want to be on Jared Allen's over 17.5 points. He's going to thrive much easier, especially if Gobert is out. So as of right now, Jaylen Williams' assist prop is still not back. So I'm going to go with the under 9 rebounds assists. I think it's still decent. I'm going to be really annoyed if he ends up going under the 4.5 assists, but ends up getting all kinds of rebounds and screwing up this line. But I got to work with what I have in this case, and I'm still going for that blowout script. So I think it's still going to work out on the under 9 RA. At least a push on this. And to end it off, I'm going to this Clippers game, and there's something I love doing with this team is grabbing Paul George on his under points, but then grabbing Kawhi on his over points. So the idea here is that most of the time, only one of them is going to be going over their points prop. So you kind of choose which one you think is more likely to go over, and you grab the other guy under. Now on the OddsJuice dashboard, we see that Paul George is already juiced towards that under 24.5 points. So on his own, it's a good pick. But since we're grabbing PG, we might as well throw in Kawhi on his over points, because if Paul George is going under points, it's more likely that someone is cutting that slack. And that someone is going to be Kawhi in this case, or at least this is what we're projecting for tonight. It could be Harden, it could be other players on the team, but most of the time it's Kawhi. So we're grabbing Kawhi on the over 24.5 points because Paul George has good juice towards that under 24.5 points. On top of that, if we look at this Portland game, it's a -13 spread towards the Clippers, so good blowout potential. When there's blowouts, there's going to be less minutes for the starters, and someone has to be blowing out the Trailblazers. In this case, we're hoping it's Kawhi. They'll be dropping up to 30 points, while Paul George is still getting points, but not enough to actually clear his 24.5. Because if we check the total, it's at 216.5. Not too high there either. So again, I expect only one of these guys to go over, and we're going with Kawhi on his over in this case. That is one full slip. I'm going to get into another one, and you could go with Jaylen Williams on the under assist if that so happens to be back on the board by the time that you see this. And the second slip is just going to be straight positive EV picks. So what that means, I'm getting straight off the OddsJuice dashboard, and this site essentially consolidates all the data, everything you could think of, into a single win percentage. So when you guys are thinking last 5 games, last 10 games, matchups, who's in, who's out, injuries, all these things are already baked in to the lines. So the odds we have here, so you can see here in order, the best plays are going to be Jaylen Brown on his under 2.5 3 points made. And what I do is I literally just copy paste this in, try to find it. Now there's all kinds of clutter on Prizepicks with all these demons and goblins, but you're going to find it right here, under 2.5 3 points made. Grab that. Then you see another good prop, Austin Reeves on the over 24.5 PRA. You grab that and you throw it in your entry. You see another one here, Kuminga on the under 20.5. Just throw it in. Another player right here. Then you go on to the fourth guy, Anthony Edwards on the under 6.5 rebounds. Another great pick that I don't have to do any research on. And then Jaylen Williams on his under 1.5 3 points made is the 5th pick. And then for the 6th pick, you could go with any of these here. There's Ivy on his over 3.5 assists. There's Santi on his under 3.5 assists. And there's Miles Turner on the over 6.5 rebounds. What I normally like to do is find a push line. So push line looks like this. It's where you have a 6.0 or whatever, 5.0 with the potential to push. The reason I like these is because if I go and grab Zion and he gets exactly 6 points, I just revert down to a 5 flex. And 5 flexes give this payout, which is still good. 10x on a 5 out of 5, 2x on a 4 out of 5, and 0.4x on a 3 out of 5. So that's why I like to throw those guys in as a little push line. But what's optimal is still getting that full 6 for 6 payout. So I'm going to go over to the first quarter, grab Zion on his under 6 points. And the reason this is a good prop is he's at 5.5 on the sportsbook. So they're basically saying there's a 48% chance he goes under 5.5. We're getting him at 6. Of course, that's very important. The difference between losing at 6 and pushing at 6 is definitely a big advantage. So I'm going to be all over Zion's under 6 first quarter points as the last pick. So this is the full second slip here. So this is the full slip: JB, AR, Kuminga, Anthony Edwards, Jaylen Williams, and Zion for 2 full slips for today.